What is up, everyone? Brandon Ferst, aka First Report, representing the First Off the Bench Podcast Network. Everyone comes off the bench. We are first. Welcome into another edition of the Changeup here on the network, breaking down everything Major League Baseball has to offer for you. With me, as always, is my co-host Bryanna Winner. You can find Bryanna at bwinner12. I think I already know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. How you doing today?
Considering what happened last night, I'm very happy.
Yes, it's a good time to be an Angels fan overall. But we are recording Wednesday morning. I think we are on the 11th. Yes, May 11th. And our first bit of news, we're going to dive right in. It's not only, put in the winner circle. This is a big story. Reed Detmers last night, Tuesday night being, throws a no-hitter, the youngest Angel ever to throw a no-hitter. I think there were 10 or 11 no-hitters in franchise history. He's the youngest. Congratulations to Reed Detmers. Bryanna, what are your thoughts?
The fact that he only had 2 strikeouts, gave up 1 walk, and the Angels only had 1 error, and they won 12-0 and had 18 hits. Look, Detmers was their first-round pick in the 2020 draft. So we kind of knew that he was going to be good, but I don't think anybody expected him to have a no-hitter this early in his career. But it's nice to see, and it's very fun.
Yeah, and you kind of hit on the head. I think that draft, that infamous draft where the Angels literally were like, if you can hit, get out of our way. Like, we're only looking for people who can throw the ball, pitch the ball.
They got one. They got one.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay. I apologize. Fair enough.
Out of the 20 picks, it was like 19 pitchers.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, majority of them, maybe they misspelled someone's name, but no, I'm just kidding. But obviously for Reed Detmers being kind of the head of that class, the first pick of those, I think it really shows that, while we may have for the last two or 3 years kind of, made fun of the Angels pitching and the lack thereof. And then, that draft where at least 19 of the 20 picks were pitchers. Well, guess what? They're laughing now, because I'll tell you this right now, if the Angels get pitching like they've gotten, and I'm not talking no-hitter, like congratulations to Reed Detmers, but probably didn't need that in a 12-0 game. You probably didn't need a no-hitter, but it's great. I think overall, though, for the Angels, the biggest issue for this team has always been the pitching. And they're starting to figure it out. And health as well. You're right. And, we have seen pretty much everyone stay healthy for the most part. No big injuries. Everyone, a 10-day trip will happen early on, especially,
or COVID.
Well, yes. Luckily, I'm trying to think. I know Mike Yastrzemski got hit with one, but you did have one?
Angels have one.
Okay, fair enough. So it's still out there. But the big ACL, MCL out for the year, we haven't seen that, as I knock on wood. But I think the pitching staff, the strides that they're making, I've said this from the beginning, all baseball fans want to see the best players in the playoffs, and Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani need to be in the playoffs. And it looks like the Angels are moving in that direction. We'll get a little deeper into the Angels side of it, of course, in the winner's circle a little later. I do want to just bring up, I didn't want to, bring this up first because it's, who, but Justin Verlander did throw a 7 1/3 of no-hit ball, did give up a hit in the 8th inning. Obviously, a lot of, I think that was his 8th no-hitter he's brought into the 8th inning. So, still keeping an eye on that thing, but there's a big difference between 7 1/3 no-hit and an entire game no-hit. So Reed Detmers.
And I was at work, and the Verlander one never came up.
Yeah.
It was just Detmers. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, come on, Detmers, let's do this.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I saw it, I think, after the 7th inning. I got an alert on my phone. I was watching the Padre game. Actually, no, I was watching the hockey game, the Kings game. But I got the alert, and after 7 innings, and I saw it was Reed Detmers, and I almost texted you, but I went, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not even going to even send an emoji with the zipped lips. I'm not going to be that guy, because if I would have said, hey, do you see what's going on? And then Detmer gives up a hit, I would be doing this show by myself. So
Probably, but I would have told you, yes, I already get those notifications.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, for Reed Detmers, goes out, gets the job done. Congratulations to him. What we said, a walk and an error away from a perfect game. So 29 batters faced out of the possible.
But 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, that right there, you're right. That's, I mean, you see some relievers, average 2 strikeouts an inning. And then this guy goes 9, but that really, I think, shows also on that, when you talk about that, that means that 26 of the 29 made contact, 2 strikeouts and a walk. Yeah. So 26 opportunities for a hit. When you really look at it, the ball was put in play. You're so correct with the no-hitter analogy with only 2 strikeouts, because when you strike out 10, well, guess what? That, excuse me, that cuts that opportunity for those hits to be made. Balls aren't in play on strikeouts. So when you only have 2 strikeouts, you told me that right before we went on air, and I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around that. Definitely some history there. It's got to be the lowest amount of strikeouts in a no-hitter, at least in some time. But that's one for the Elias Sports Bureau to break down. That's deep in there. But moving on to other things, some news out of Philadelphia, or at least earlier this week. I think it was this weekend, actually. The Phillies have been struggling, no doubt about it. Really, everyone in the NL East, not named the New York Mets, is struggling. We'll get deeper into the Phillies in a bit as well. But one game in particular faced the Mets this past weekend. Heading into the 9th inning, you got to feel good if you're a Phillies fan. You're up 7-1 against the Mets. It hasn't been great, but you're going to get a win against your division rival. End of the half of the inning, they give up 7 runs. The Phillies continue. The bullpen continues to let them down. This team has ample amount of offense. I mean, obviously they scored 7 runs. They can put numbers up on the board, but this bullpen continues to let them down. This isn't the only reason I'm putting this here. This isn't a one-time thing. Over the last 3 or 4 years, the Phillies have had the worst, the most blown saves out of any contending team. I don't worry about the Orioles. I don't worry about the Pirates. I don't worry about some of those other teams, but some of these contending teams, the Phillies consistently not only blow saves, but blow big leads. Now, the big problem for them, they're 7.5 games out from the Mets. I know it's early, but they better get it under control. But Bryanna, what are your thoughts? Phillies kind of doing Phillies things, and they're starting to, get adrift in the NL East.
I mean, there's not much else to say. They're just, the East is being the East. Let's be honest. Philadelphia is being Philadelphia, and you just don't do that. Like, if you want to be in the race, you cannot give up 7 runs in the final inning while you're ahead. It just can't happen.
Yeah, it's too much. And of all the cities in the United States, or in the American sporting kingdom, whatever you want to, you can bring Canada and their hockey teams into this too. If you're going to blow a big lead, Philadelphia is probably going to be the last place you want to do it. If you're the home team, we already saw with Alex Baum earlier this year, hearing it after 3 errors in 3 innings, saying, I bleep and hate this place. Well, I bet you there were some Phillies saying that in the locker room after that one, but it's unfortunate, and the team's the fans are going to let you know about it. But switching gears onto something better topic, I would say, and it's congratulations to Dusty Baker, one of the best managers in the game. 2,000 wins. He is the first Black manager to reach that, I think 9th overall. Truly a Hall of Famer. And I'll also say this, while he is the manager of the Houston Astros, myself personally, I hold absolutely no ill will towards him. He had nothing to do with the Astros during the cheating scandal. And he's, for the most part, from what we've seen, done what he's needed to do. Unfortunately, to get the Astros into a spot we're going to get to a little later, unfortunately. But for Dusty Baker, obviously, is the Giants, the Cubs. Was it the Nationals as well? I think he might have been at the Nationals as well. And then obviously with the Astros. But Bryanna, what are your thoughts? Dusty Baker becomes the first Black manager to win 2,000 wins as a man.
I mean, if anybody can get to 2,000 wins, it's deserved.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of people who can do it. And thankfully, he wasn't part of that cheating scandal, but he definitely deserves it.
Yeah. I agree. He will be going down at some point. Now, there is one thing he has been missing. And I would say it would be the only positive of the Astros winning a World Series would be getting Dusty Baker a championship. But I love Dusty. I wish him the best, but I also don't want Houston to win a World Series. So, and I know Bryanna's thoughts on that one. I think we all do. But with that, we are going to send it over to Bryanna. It's this might be, folks. I think this is season 2 of this. I really do feel this is going to be the most positive, most upbeat winner's circle ever. There's not even security in the winner's circle anymore. It's just everyone come in. It's like the summer of love. Everyone's feeling good. Everyone's excited. Bryanna, what have you got for us in the winner's circle?
Well, look, they're 7-3 in their last 10. I don't mind that. They are 21-11 overall, and they are still in first of the West, and they're a game up of Houston. And it feels really good to say that they are a game up over the Astros. Now I want this to continue. I want them to keep beating on the Astros. And I know you do too.
Definitely.
Let's all hope it happens. So they started last week. Since the last podcast, they went 2-1 versus Boston on Thursday. They won 8-0, and it was Ohtani's Fenway debut. He struck out 11. Keep in mind, he started the season 0-2 pitching. He has now won 3 straight pitching appearances. That's pretty much the highlight of that series. It's going to be just that right there. They went 2-1 against the Nats. They won Friday 3-0, Saturday 7-3, or they lost 7-3 on Saturday, and then they won 5-4. And I was like this close to like screaming if they had lost that game. And then now we're into the series that they are in now with the Tampa Bay Rays. So they're so far 2-0. They're going to finish this series later today. On Monday, they won 11-3. Ohtani hit 2 home runs, including his first career grand slam in the 7th inning. Is there anything this man can't do?
I don't think so.
And then last night, obviously, we've already talked about Reid Detmers, but let's talk about Brett Phillips for a second.
Yes, please.
Brett Phillips, once again, came in to pitch for the Rays. They were already down so much. Look, keep in mind, the Angels did win 12-0. Trout and Rendon both hit home runs off of Brett Phillips. And what you had told me, because I didn't realize it, Rendon hit it as a lefty.
Yeah.
He hit it as a lefty.
Unbelievable.
It just, they tried. They tried really hard to just not get on base or just not hit. Like they were putting batters in like opposite positions, and it still happened, guys. Rendon still hit a homer off of Brett Phillips as a lefty.
Yeah.
Brett Phillips is not going to be able to live any of this down. The Rays are definitely not going to be able to live this down because they are using a position player as a pitcher once again this season. Poor Brett Phillips. just poor Brett Phillips. So they're going to finish the series off tonight against the Rays. It's going to be Ohtani versus McClanahan. So this should be a good matchup. Hopefully Ohtani can continue this 3 straight win streak. And then tomorrow they have off finally. And then Friday through Sunday, they have the A's. They have a doubleheader on Saturday. So they are playing 4 games within the 3-day span. And then they're going to finish off up till obviously our next podcast. They're going to have the Rangers Monday through Wednesday, which should be Detmer's next pitching appearance. Let's hope he does well. And that's it.
Gotcha. Yeah, we talked about earlier. Unfortunately, some of the no-hitters the next time out doesn't go incredibly well. I think there's only been one person to throw back-to-back no-hitters, and that was like in the 20s. So yeah, best of luck to him. Going back to the Rendon Phillips situation, it's I like it. I think in certain games like that, look, should Major League Baseball have a mercy rule? No, probably not. but this is fun. Like this, there are some games that what Tampa Bay Rays fan was continuing to watch the game last night without the no-hitter, right? If the no-hitter wasn't on there and you weren't have a chance to watch history, no Rays fan is going to continue to watch that game unless going into the 8th or 9th inning, we might see some Brett Phillips. And obviously Rendon kind of obliged that as well by saying, hey, you know what? They got a pitcher, a position player on the mound. I'm going to hit lefty. And I'll say this right now, like when he's throwing these gopher balls up there at 50 miles an hour, that's difficult to hit out for a home run. And the reason I say that is you see these 95-mile-an-hour fastballs. Well, you don't need to get a ton of good wood on those because a lot of the power is coming from the speed of the pitch. Well, if you're coming in at 55 or the little looper, I mean, he had to go, it looked like a golf swing to hit that one out last night. So
I don't think he was trying to hit it out.
I don't think so. I think he was just trying to make contact. And that's the other thing too. Who was it? Anthony Rizzo being struck out or?
No. Rizzo was the one on the mound. It was Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman. Thank you. But
Rizzo was on the mound.
Yeah. I mean, if you're like, and for Rendon, obviously he wanted to have fun, bat on the left side. But if there are a lot of those batters that the only thing they do going up there is don't strike out. Like if they get out, whatever, but don't strike out. I mean, I love Freddie Freeman, and I know I did kind of forget who it happened to, but that's something who it's going to stick with him for a long time. He had fun with it. It's not that big of a deal. But I just, Brett Phillips, I hope we see him. I hope we see more of him. I know the Rays probably don't because that's essentially their white flag, but it's great for baseball. I think it's a lot of fun. And as I said earlier, the Angels being, a playoff contender is good for baseball, period.
And the worst thing for Tampa, they are 4 games back of the Yankees right now, and they are on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling, and they got Ohtani going today. That's difficult. It's a difficult ask for any team to kind of pull themselves out of that little slump. And it's like you said, the Yankees are already they're pulling away from the field as well. Yankees in Toronto pulling away. It's gonna be an interesting race in the East, but for the West, I think right now the Angels looking like the best team. They can continue to stay healthy, continue to pitch.
Yeah, it's gonna probably be between the Angels and Houston unless something happens after the All-Star break.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. So moving on to it's not the end of the world, not terrible, but definitely not as sunny skies in Anaheim that we do have here in San Diego, at least for the Padres. Padres did take 3 out of 4 from this past weekend from the Marlins. They had a huge walk-off home run on Sunday. There is a little worry in San Diego, though. First and foremost, the worry for our manager, Bob Melvin. He is okay. He's having, I don't know if you can really categorize prostate surgery as routine, but he is having surgery on his prostate. I assume, to get in there. I'm sure the doctors know all that, but he will be out more than likely a week or 2. He says he's hoping to just miss the road trip, which the homestand finishes up today as we record on the 11th of May. And then they will head out on the road next week for about a week. So there is a chance that there will be no Bob Melvin. Brian Christensen, the bench coach, has taken over the duties. You also have Matt Williams on that staff, who might not have been a very successful manager, but was a manager in the past. The Padres have been playing well, but the issue is with the bats. The pitching has got the job done. The starters have been very good. The bullpen has been average, and they've gotten it done for the most part when they've needed to. Currently, the Padres are 20-11. With 1.5 games behind the Dodgers. They are 6-4 in their last 10. The Dodgers just they're a buzzsaw right now. There's no other way to slice it. We'll get to how good this whole division has been here in a moment, but for the Padres, they go 3 straight games really where they only score on one swing of the bat. Saturday, they get shut out 8-0 by the Marlins. And then we go to Sunday for 8 innings. They're being shut out by the Marlins again. Jorge Alfaro hits a huge 3-run walk-off home run with 2 outs to give them their only 3 runs of the game. And then the next day against the Cubs, Kyle Hendricks goes out and twirls a dandy and shuts out the Padres. So really in 3 games, the Padres, if you take one swing out of it, did not score a single run. Now, they did bounce back a bit yesterday, beating the Cubs, setting up the rubber match today. It'll be an afternoon game. So, but it was a 5-4 victory for the Padres. We'll see how it comes out against the Cubs today. Looking ahead, as I said, for the Padres, they are, of course, on the road. It will be, I dropped the schedule. Hold on one second. All right, at Atlanta. So that'll be a tough one. 3 games this weekend, Friday through Sunday, and then 3 against Philly next week, Tuesday through Thursday. All of those, of course, on the road, and then they'll finish up with San Francisco before returning home. Hopefully, Bob Melvin will be back by then. If the hitting can start getting rolling, and if the bullpen can kind of right the ship in certain situations, the Padres are going to be just fine. But right now, look, 20-11 looks really good. They're not a game and a half behind the Dodgers in terms of overall talent. They have a lot to work on. I think even the Giants are probably better than the Padres. But for this team, keep moving forward, keep winning series, win today, win the series against the Cubs, keep winning series. And we'll see kind of how the cards fall for that one. So it's a perfect segue into our 3 ups and 3 downs. This one's a little more unconventional as our first up. Look, it's the whole division of the National League West. Every single team, even the Arizona Diamondbacks, even the Colorado Rockies, are 2 games over 500. Obviously, you have the Dodgers at the top, 20-8, the Padres 20-11. And then it's San Francisco, Colorado, and Arizona. Even with Arizona, the worst record at 16-14. It's going to be interesting. I don't think, I would imagine the Rockies and Arizona probably come back to 500. Arizona, my goodness, if they could win 75 games this year, they need to give a trophy to those guys. But anyways, Bryanna, what are your thoughts of the NL West having a great start to the season?
It's more of a shock that the Diamondbacks are 2 games over 500. 100%. Colorado, we know it's going to happen at some point. Arizona, who was one of the worst teams in baseball last year, is 2 games over 500 at the moment. And the worst team in baseball isn't even in that division.
Nope. Not even close.
It's the freaking Reds.
Yeah. Who have been on a tear, by the way. They won more games in May than they did in April, or as many games in May as they did in April, but that's another story. They're retired.
Yeah, they're retired from the down list. We may see them on the up, who knows, but they're not going to go on the down. There's no point in them going in the down. Because what are they, like?
They are 6 and 22?
6 and 24.
6 and 24.
They are 6 and 24.
Yikes.
Yeah, sorry, Cincinnati. Not happening. But yeah, I mean, we knew that the top 3 were going to be over 500. It was just going to be a matter of Rockies and Diamondbacks. And the Diamondbacks are clearly a shock to everybody at the moment.
Yeah, and I didn't realize they actually, when I was putting the rundown together last night, I misread it. Arizona's actually 17-14. They've won 3 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And another thing that's really, really interesting about this, they already have a series win over the Dodgers. So there's something going on in the desert. We'll see if it continues. But I don't think we're going to see 100 losses from the Diamondbacks. So congratulations to them, because I thought they were, the way this division lined up, I thought the Diamondbacks were going to lose 120 games this year, and they're not even going to come close to that. So good on them. But anyways, time to get a little negative. What is our first down of the week, Bryanna?
The first down is going to be, unfortunately, the Red Sox, who are now in 5th in the American League East. Look, they are 11-19. They are 3-7 in their last 10. They are the only ones that have only won 3 games in their last 10 in that division. They are 10.5 games back of rival Yankees. Like, come on.
All I have to say,
They have a 367 win percentage right now.
they are 2 games behind the Baltimore Orioles.
Orioles.
The Baltimore Orioles, Red Sox fans. Not only are they behind them, but they're multiple games behind them. 3-7 in their last 10. They had, I guess they won yesterday. Yeah, it reminds me a lot of, was it the COVID season that they just were absolutely terrible, or was it the year before?
No, it was the COVID season.
Okay.
Hey, they're not the worst teams in the American League.
Oh yeah,
that goes to the Royals and Detroit.
Yeah.
Both with only 9 wins.
Which is
but
crazy.
They're not much farther back.
No, because they're in the Central and they've been kind of beaten. They should be beaten up on those other teams. But yeah, for the Red Sox, it is still early, but not for 10.5 games. 10.5 games. That's you going on an 8-game winning streak, the Yankees going on an 8-game losing streak, and you still needed to make up 2 games. So it's definitely panic time in Boston. It'll be interesting to see how they weather that storm. If they do recover, how does it happen? I know, look, the story of this, and the pun is intended because Trevor Story's struggling. The entire offense of Boston is struggling. They're going to have to get it under control, or it will be another long season like we saw in 2020, where I think they might have finished last place. I don't know. It was them or Baltimore. But anyways, Boston needs to get it rolling. It is, like I said, still early, still salvageable, maybe a wild card, but I don't think they have a chance in the division. You're already 10.5 games out, period. So and
the Yankees are leading the American League. Remember this.
Yes. And they've been dominant.
So it's even worse because they are at the bottom of the American League, and their rivals, who are 10.5 games ahead of them, are leading.
Yeah. And
the
on a tear.
entire American League.
Yeah. Unfortunately, folks, our second up of the week. I know I had to do it. Look, we try to be unbiased. At least when we put the show together, we try and be unbiased. We're going to try and do the right thing and give some props.
This hurts, Brandon. This hurts.
It does. I know putting it together was tough, but it is the Houston Astros. 19-11. They've won 8 in a row. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They're a game back of the Angels.
Let's keep it that way.
Yeah, exactly. As Bryanna said, it's probably going to be a 2-horse race. Houston and the Angels figure that one out. Houston, as much as I don't like them, as much as I hate the way they won that World Series, this is a good baseball team, even without Correa. I do expect the Angels and Astros to kind of 2-horse race, that slugfest going all the way down into September. We'll see how that goes. But for now, the Astros on an absolute tear. We'll see if they can get upended anytime soon. Bryanna, we got to do it. Yeah, I got to hear your thoughts. On the Houston Asterisks.
No, let's just move on to the down.
All right, there we go. Fair enough. Moving on to the downs. Apologies to all the Astro fans out there, but I'll tell you this right now. It's probably best Bryanna just kind of went over that,
Hey, and it's good that the Dodgers, Astros, and Yankees are not all on the ups this week.
They very well could be too. That could have done that, but I was like, we got to pick one. One's on 8-game winning streak, and we've already talked about the other 2 in the past. So, yeah, it was a tough one. But our second down of the week, Bryanna, what you got?
We are staying in the American League West. It is going to be, unfortunately, the Oakland A's, who until this year were pretty much on a tear. What happened? They are 2-8 in their last 10. They are 8.5 games back of the Angels at 12-19. What happened?
Fire sale. I mean, they got rid of everyone. I would say Sean Murphy. I'm literally trying to name Oakland A's right now. I want to say Jesus Luzardo, but they traded him away last year. Obviously, Sean Manaea is with the Padres.
Matt Olson?
No, he's with the Braves.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's Matt Chapman got traded to the Blue Jays. Starling Marte.
Isn't he with the Pirates?
He
No.
might be actually. Or hold on, I think he got traded as well. Sorry, this is us going down a rabbit hole we weren't prepared for, but no, he is on the New York Mets, so he was also traded.
Okay, then never mind.
Yeah. So, and another guy you could say, Bob Melvin. Nope, he's with the Padres. So, I mean, the fire.
You enjoy that one.
Yeah, I am, and Manaea as well. But the fire sale of all fire sales, and it's more than that as well. Obviously, the team isn't very good. I actually could make the case that this team is actually overachieving. I mean, we know who's on the Red Sox. We know who, at least someone who's on the
But they're still doing
Royals.
worse than the Rangers.
Exactly. But I literally do. This is a quadruple A team. With all due respect to those athletes, they are better athletes than I will ever be, but they are not Major League Baseball players, most of them. And we're starting to see that with the A's. And I think the real concern is what's going on in the stands, or not going on in the stands. They had a game the other day, 2,300 people. That's a graduating class for some high schools. 2,300 people. I mean, there are high school football practices in Southern California and Texas that have more people than that. And the A's fans have come out and said, look, we love our team, but we're boycotting the way this team is ran. And Moneyball was romantic. It was a great story about the underdog. Well, this is the other side of the coin. When you have an owner who refuses to put money into a team, this is what you get. And if I'm an A's fan, I would continue to stay at home. I wouldn't even watch the games at this point. You have to try and either get this man to sell the team or get him to change his mindset. The Padres had a owner in John Moores who had the same exact mindset. Draft players, bring them up 3 or 4 years, trade them away because we can't afford them. Jake Peavy, Adrian Gonzalez. I mean, Fernando Tatis was the first extension the Padres ever signed, really ever, that I can remember from an actual homegrown star. And the A's are the exact same way. It's pitiful. And this lockout aimed to try and get the bad owners out of baseball, but there are definitely still some there.
And the A's are a game and a half back of Texas.
Yeah.
Who was one of the worst teams in baseball last year.
But Texas is far and away the better team. I'll tell you that right now. I mean,
I know. They've got Seager, who's been definitely helping them.
I can name those guys. I literally cannot name. I'm trying. While I've been talking, I've been trying to grab a name. I have nothing. Like I said, Sean Murphy is the only one. It's really, really sad for the A's fans. And obviously, this isn't helping the whole keep the A's in Oakland movement. I think they have
Tony Kemp.
Sorry? Okay.
Tony Kemp.
Okay,
I'm
Tony
literally
Kemp.
on their game against the Guardians from a few days ago.
All right, there we go. Tony Kemp. But I'll tell you what, if Tony Kemp is your second most noteworthy player, yeah, you're going to be in last place. And no disrespect to Tony Kemp or Sean Murphy or any of those players. I know it sounds like I am, but we're talking relative here. You know, all these players are in the top 1 percentile in the world at playing this game. But at the major league level, they are at the bottom of that percentile. So it's unfortunate in Oakland, but it's not surprising. And I think it's going to only get worse. Like I said, I think they're actually doing better than I expected here. But for our third and final down, it is the White Sox. Sorry?
Up. You said down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I've been so negative in the last 5 minutes.
Hey. The next down's coming from the same city. So
there we go.
Good.
So yeah, no, this will be our third up of the week, and it is the Chicago White Sox. This is a team that has struggled. Their record doesn't jump out to you. They're 15-14, 2.5 games behind the Twins, but they are 8-2 in their last 10. They've won. They did win last night. They've definitely turned things around, and kind of like what the Red Sox needed to do a week ago, the White Sox did. They've closed that gap. Now, they were never 10.5 games behind Minnesota, but they closed that gap to a manageable 2.5 games. Excuse me. And I do expect the White Sox to win this division when it is all said and done. Bryanna, what are your thoughts?
Well, their game today got postponed, and what ESPN says when it says postponed with next to the makeup date, it says COVID-19 makeup TBD.
I gotcha. Interesting.
So I have no idea what's happening there.
I know we had a lot of rainouts this past weekend, but that's
what I thought it would be.
Different.
That's what I thought it would be, but apparently not.
Yeah.
I just had to readjust my fantasy lineup because of that. So, because I have Pollock.
Oh, yeah. He had a nice game, I think either last night or the day before. A 3-run homer, I think, late. The White Sox are starting to figure it out. I think they will win this division. It probably won't be close towards the end, although it's nice to see Minnesota playing a little well. But it's gonna be a tough one. But Bryanna, if you got nothing else to add, we can hop on to our third down.
It says multiple positive tests.
Wow. Where has this, I'll tell you what, a year ago, this would be front page news, and I would have an alert from every single sports app that I follow. Very odd that we don't see that.
It was Cleveland.
Okay. Did they play last night? They did play last night, right?
They did play last night. And this came out less than an hour ago. Following multiple positive COVID-19 tests within the Cleveland Guardians organization, today's game has been postponed to allow for continued testing and contact tracing. Major League Baseball will provide a rescheduling update when it becomes available. And that was from the White Sox Twitter.
Got it. Okay. Wow. Well, I mean, they are in the same division. They're regionally close, so it's not a huge thing in terms of the makeup day, but obviously looking forward, if you have multiple tests or multiple positive tests on the Guardian side of things, I don't know how they play baseball this weekend. I'm not a pathologist, or, it's been a little while since we remember the whole, how do you get through, but if you have multiple players doing that, so.
And they have the Twins this weekend.
Okay, there you go. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that affects that series going forward. But Bryanna, what do we have for our third and final down of the week?
We are staying in the city of Chicago, unfortunately for me.
Yep.
It is the Chicago Cubs, who are currently fourth in the National League Central at 10-19. At least it's not the Reds. They are 9 games back of Milwaukee and 2-8 in their last 10, which is partially thanks to the Padres.
It's interesting to me, the Cubs, because I the way I like to kind of like grade teams, or not grade teams, but kind of look at it, it's the run differential. I think that really does give some insight into some teams. For example, I've always said the Padres are not a very good 20-11 team. Their run differential is only +10. San Francisco on the other side, 18-12, their run differential is +34. Now I look at the Cubs. Now they are 10-19. Their run differential is only -15. Obviously they're struggling, and they're not a very good baseball team. Seiya Suzuki, one of their, the rookie from Japan, I believe he's on the DL. I think he was hurt. I heard something on the Monday broadcast. I don't know if he got hurt or if they were evaluating him. Maybe he isn't on the DL, but
he's day to day.
Day to day. Okay, so that helps. That helps in that, because he was off to a very, very good start. And then the Kyle Hendricks thing on Monday night, I thought that, he has those moments where he can go out and just twirl some gems, but there's just not enough of that from the Cubs. It is kind of a rebuild for this team. There's no more Chris Bryant. There's no more Anthony Rizzo, no more Javi Baez. It's the time for the Haps and the Hendrickses. For better or worse, that's where the Cubs are. Bryanna, you're obviously a little more knowledgeable when it comes to the Cubs than most. What's going on up there?
I can't tell you. I've been paying more attention to the Angels because of Ohtani and what that
Sounds
team
about
has been
right.
doing.
Yeah.
Because this is new. This is new for the Angels, at least since I can remember. So I've been paying more attention to the Angels. I'm sorry. But the Cubs do have the Diamondbacks, and then they have the Pirates right after they finish up with you.
Yep. It's going to be I think they should win that series against the Pirates. Let's be honest. The Cubs, I think,
Pirates are 12 and 17.
Yeah, but I would take the Cubs in that series. I just think they're better, at least on paper. And but we'll see. I mean, the Cubs are very, very lucky that the Reds are in their division, or else there would be a bigger microscope under them. 10 and 19. I did not know it was that bad. They got off to a nice little start.
It's not 6 and 24, Brandon.
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, 6 and remember, we don't talk about them anymore. There's only 29 teams in baseball as far as we're concerned here on the network. So
it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be worse. It could be a hell of a lot better for them. But I don't think it
still could be worse.
Surprise.
They could not. They could also not be in double-digit wins.
Yeah, but I mean, it could also be a lot better. That's all I'm saying. So being a below average baseball team is not a lot of fun, but it's not surprising for the Cubs. I don't think a whole lot of people expected them to be good.
The surprise is that the Padres are ahead of them. Or not Padres. The Pirates are ahead of them.
Oh, yeah, it's still early.
I meant Pirates.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I was like, hold on.
I meant Pirates.
Shots fired.
I meant the Pirates.
I know,
Look, to be honest, you guys are playing them right now. So
yeah,
come on.
Yeah. So yeah, final thoughts, Bryanna, for this edition of the Changeup.
Angels, keep this up. We all want to see you guys actually make a playoff game with the two best players in baseball.
Yep.
Amen. And Detmers.
Yeah, and Detmers. He's the.
Let's see if Detmers can do this again.
What a story. We'll see if he continues on. Good stuff from the Angels. Padres, hit the ball, please. Somebody besides Hosmer and Machado, just someone step up. We know we got Tatis probably 2 months away, but someone's got to carry the torch, or at least the bronze torch, if you will. But still got a great weekend ahead of baseball, so we'll keep an eye on all that for you. But with that, thank you all so much for listening to this edition of the Changeup here on the network, here on the Off the Bench podcast, First Off the Bench podcast network. Everyone comes off the bench. We are first. It's time for you all to go wash your hands and stop hating everybody. We'll talk to you all very soon. Take care.